I do not say this lightly. If you've been struggling with acne for some time, this video is probably, hopefully, going to change your life. I just really wish that when I was struggling so much with acne and I was spending thousands of euros on solutions that didn't work, I wish I'd found a video like that. And now, just for full transparency, as you can tell, my skin is not perfect, but I will insert some pictures here of what my skin used to look like. And so this is a lot of improvement. Well, I do want you to know that you're beautiful. No matter what, your skin does not define you. You're still glowing from the inside out. Skin is not everything. And I know it can feel so fucking hard to have to tell yourself that. And you just look at other people's skin and you're like, well, it's easy to say that, but look at me. No, you are still goddamn beautiful. Now, before I'm sharing my tips with you, what actually has helped me, I want to start off with saying a couple of things that I have tried in the past, because I know a lot of times we'll watch these videos and we'll think, oh, but she hasn't tried this. I have already tried this. I've already tried everything. Well, I want to share the things that I tried, so you're probably gonna go like, oh, okay, so she has tried all the things I've also already tried. And by the way, this video is not sponsored. I'm not gonna make you buy anything, so this is not just gonna be a big pitch for some magical pill at the end. Okay, so my acne basically started in 2015 when I went off the pill, and I remember exactly how I was standing in the H&M changing room. And I was like, what is happening to my skin? Like, I have really bad pimples right now. But I didn't think about it too much because I was like, well, these will go away like they always have. Little did I know what I was getting ready for. Obviously, the first thing that I did that I think most people do is I went to a dermatologist because I was like, the skin has an issue, let's put something on the skin. And this was followed by many different dermatologists, many different creams, many different products. At some point I tried that vitamin A thing where you have to take birth control, so they would even give it to you. Do not recommend. It did give me some relief for sure. It did make my skin a lot better, but it did not make my moods a lot better. It was quite the opposite. And so at some point I stopped taking that, went back to finding products that I could use on my skin, bought all the recommendations that you see in all of these YouTube videos. Every new cream that was there that was supposedly for acne, I bought it. I even bought silk pillowcases so that my skin wouldn't be touching like a regular pillow at night. Didn't do a lot for me, even though I still use them these days for my hair. Then at some point I was like, okay, let's go to somebody else. I have this doctor that I really trust. And so I was like, let me just go to him, even though he's not a skin doctor, he's not a dermatologist. Let me go to him and see what he has to say. He's a doctor, but he's a bit more on the plancy side of things. And so he did some tests for me with my saliva around my hormones, and there it turns out, oh wait, actually first I did spend months waiting for an appointment with the endocrinologist. I think my gynecologist had sent me there because of my skin. So I waited for months for the appointment with the endocrinologist just to find out, or well, you know, due to their interpretation, I had normal hormones. So then at first I was like, okay, so it's not a hormone thing, so what is it then? Then I went to my trusted doctor, even though it's not his department. He did a test with the saliva instead of blood. I know people have discussions around that. And he basically told me I had estrogen dominance and cortisol disbalances. Then I took some planty stuff there, did give me some relief, definitely for some time. But as soon as I stopped taking it, all the problems came back. Then also I removed my copper IUD at some point because I was like, maybe this is also not helping it. Like, I knew it wasn't triggered by that because I didn't have that back when the acne started, right? But I was like, okay, maybe this is also not good, so let's also remove that. I was doing a little meditation challenge to lower my stress levels, which again, it did help a little bit, but it wasn't sustainable because I wasn't doing it sustainably, maybe because of that. But I do think this is such a key thing, right? Like, the things that we do, they have to be sustainable for us, because if we're not going to be doing them continually, what are we gaining? What else did I do? I tested for allergies. I cut out dairy out of my diet. Then I cut out all the other things that I turned out to be be allergic to. Oh, and of course, like all throughout this journey, I feel like I had started to eat so much healthier. There was never a moment where I just allowed myself to like eat a piece of cake because there would be some dairy in it, there would be lots of sugar in it. So for me, I felt like I was already eating such a healthy diet compared to most people, and they had no skin issues and I had all this acne. So it was super duper frustrating. Oh yeah, and I also at some point I did some tapping to digest, I guess, some childhood trauma, because at some point I was like, okay, like none of this outer stuff is working, none of what I've tried so far is working. Maybe I have to look internally, maybe there's some stuff going on in my psyche that's really causing so much stress and imbalances and God knows what. And to be fair, I don't want to say that this did not work, because I probably didn't do it so long to see results, but I also at some point felt like I should be seeing better results faster if this was working. And I still stand with that, because actually when I started doing the things that I'm going to share with you now, I saw results pretty fucking fast. So let's get into it. I'm going to kind of sort this by things that I do and products that I use. Probably if you've been on this journey for some time, you know that there's not really magical products, but there are a couple of skin products that I have been using now for years that have been recommended to me from a variety of people, and I do feel like they do my skin good. So first, the practical things that I'm doing, because they're so much more important, but then I'm also going to show you a couple of the products that I use. Okay, so what have I done / what am I doing to have pretty good skin today? Early 2023, I also started getting insane brain fogs, like really to the point where it felt like I could not really work. Like I couldn't really focus for longer than 5 minutes, and it was really driving me crazy. Like I have my own business. I need to be able to show up because this is my income. So then I was like, okay, now I'm also getting these crazy fucking brain fogs. Maybe this is all related. So then I went on the hunt for a very, very holistic doctor who wouldn't just look at my symptoms, but who would try to get to the root of these symptoms with me. And so we ran a lot of tests, from vitamin D deficiencies, well, any kind of nutrient deficiencies. We checked allergies. He did some kind of like oxygen test to check if my nervous system was healthy. He also did some really alternative stuff where I don't even know the name. So if you do live in Germany, I can actually also send you the doctor, because he's really been amazing on this journey. I really feel like he knows his shit and I really, really trust him. So with that whole allergy test, that was already an interesting one. I learned that I was allergic to eggs, for example, and I was eating 2 eggs every single day for breakfast. And here's the thing, and probably a lot of you are going to resonate with this. When you have issues for such a long time, you don't even realize sometimes anymore that you have an issue. So I was always saying, oh, like I don't react to eggs, right? But I think my digestive tracts, they were just a little fucked up, but that was normal to me. So I didn't realize. So obviously I instantly cut out eggs, even though I really, really like eggs. And I also cut out basically all the other things that I was allergic to. What really helped me do this, because I know this can feel really hard, is that my doctor, he was actually recommending that I occasionally still eat these things, because it keeps the gut bacteria that digest these things healthy and alive inside the gut. And if I stop eating them, then the gut bacteria, the good gut bacteria that I should have, would also just die, because they don't have a job anymore. And don't come at me for the biology things here. I'm not a professional. I'm just trying to recreate what he said to me. Then I also did a parasite cleanse with him. Honestly, I don't know if that made a huge difference, but we did it as a part of like a whole gut reset and cleanse. So I do want to mention that, because that was kind of like what started it off. But what I'm really doing now, more or less consistent, I'm not doing perfect, which is probably why I still get the occasional pimple, but what I'm now doing more or less consistently is that I really only eat when I'm hungry, and maybe the whole gut reset helped me to just only eat when I'm hungry. So in the past, I would always finish my plate. I would always eat the whole pizza. I would eat all the snacks. When there was like no limit to how much I could take, I would take a lot of them. And now it's a lot more like I'll only have a couple of them, and then I'm usually like, okay, I'm perfectly fine now. And I do try to have 2.5 meals a day. And then I really give my body a lot of time to fast. And I know at first this may sound crazy. When I first heard this, I was also like, what? I'm supposed to have my last meal at like 4 o'clock or something? How am I supposed to do that? But honestly, it really wasn't that hard, and there's not much more I can say about it. I think I just had a mission. I believed in doing this, and I just came from this energy of like, let me try it. And if I'm going to be really, really hungry, I'm just going to eat. And I do fast according to my cycle. I basically don't fast around ovulation phase, and I don't fast like right before my period. And I would say, no matter how hard you think that might be, I feel like this is the thing that has helped me the most. And again, I cannot fully explain this from like a medical, biological perspective or something. I do feel physically different and so much better, and I have so much more energy when I fast regularly. And then I would say the other big change that I have made is that I am basically biohacking. So there's so much to it. Maybe you've heard about biohacking. I'm not going to be able to go into all the depth, but I'm really following the basics of biohacking. And so biggest thing is that I'll always eat my veggies first, then proteins and fat, and then carbohydrates. And I will never eat a piece of cake, for example, or any kind of candy just throughout the day. Same with fruit, by the way. I would never now at this point eat just an apple at 3 o'clock. I would always have it after dinner, and this is all related to the blood sugar and blood sugar spikes. And I genuinely feel like my blood sugar levels before knowing all this stuff, it was probably fucking crazy. And so I do still eat some sugar. I do still have some candies. My boyfriend would say I have a lot of candy, but I still think that's not true. But I do have these things. I just eat them in the right order, and I have a certain awareness of what it does to my body. There's just like a whole different awareness of what blood sugar does to our bodies. And there's also this woman, you probably heard about her. Let me actually look up her name really quickly. Oh yeah, so her name is Jessie Inchauspé, and I'm probably right as saying this terribly. And also the course that I've done where I learned a lot of these things is by Aggie Lal. Maybe you know her as well. She used to be this big travel influencer and then had all sorts of issues with her health, and then she learned all these things, and now she has a course teaching people about biohacking. So these were the main things that I started doing and that I still do to this day, which really helped me like immensely. I think if I could only do a couple of the things that I'm doing, it would be those. But I got a couple of more things that I try to do and that I kind of pay attention for. So first thing, very little skincare. I think most people do way too much. Again, that's just my noob opinion. I keep it very light and very simple. All I'm basically using is these 3 products slash, I forgot to bring this. I am using some hyaluronic acid. This is what I take my makeup off with. And then this is my moisturizer. I don't know how many bottles of this I've used. And then before I apply this, I use hyaluronic acid to moisturize my skin even more. And that is really all I do. Then I do take supplements, which they were quite a part of my gut reset as well. I took a bunch of supplements and now I still take them. But again, I'm a messy person, so it's not like I take them every single day. But I am a big fan of curcuma, like game changer. It's big anti-inflammatory. I try to drink it with barley grass because that's supposed to be amazing for the hair, but it tastes fucking horrible, and that's why I don't do it a lot. Then I do take some L-glutamine because one of my diagnoses from my doctor was leaky gut, and supposedly this is really good for leaky gut, but I wouldn't be buying this if I didn't know I in fact had leaky gut. So don't buy this until you got tested. And then one of the supplements that I take is apple cider vinegar. This is also a huge part of biohacking. So whenever I go somewhere where I'm not going to be able to have veggies first, so let's say I'm invited to a friend's birthday party and you know there's just going to be cake, I will be literally taking either one of these pills, like an apple cider vinegar pill, or I'll just have a shot of apple cider vinegar. And like just the other day I was actually at a friend's house and we were gonna have cake, so I was literally just like, hey babe, do you maybe have apple cider vinegar in your kitchen? Can I have a shot of it? And she did. So there's a lot of ways and options if you're looking for them and if you're allowing yourself to make that a priority. But I also really like these. I actually stole them from my mom now because they're very easy to carry. But also, maybe I have it here. I actually do. So this is my little shot bottle, if you will. And when I didn't have these capsules, I was literally always just carrying this tiny bottle. So I just always make a little bottle of this and take it with me wherever I go. Then another thing that I try to do, mainly for my hormones and just overall well-being, is to get my face into pure sunlight. Not gonna be like staring into the sun, but just having actual sun touch my face in the morning. And also recently I started doing Pilates in the morning, which kind of ties into my thing of just overall moving my body more, but not in the sense of like super heavy workouts, but just becoming a more active person in general. So I literally just do like 10 minutes of Pilates in the morning. I go on more walks. And yeah, I think this is basically it. To wrap it up, I would say go for the biohacking thing. Always eat veggies first, then protein, then fats, then carbs. Sugar only after dinner or after your meal. If you don't have a veggie starter, have some apple cider vinegar first. Do some fasting and honestly just start with anything that feels doable to you. You can always increase the time that you're fasting and go from there, but just start somewhere. And above these tips, if you feel like you want more support, you want to go deeper, like I said, I do recommend finding a doctor that you really feel good with, that looks for the root of things rather than just treating the symptoms, and then you can see what he recommends doing, and then you can also see what's your best individual solution. Now, from the bottom of my heart, I hope that this was helpful. If you're struggling with acne right now, if you've been struggling for a long time, know that things do get better and there's a way that you can solve this. And if you're trying these things and you're not perfect with it, neither was I, neither am I. This is a journey. Just do what you can. And know that you don't need to be spending thousands of dollars on some magical solutions. Give your body some rest, educate yourself. I can also recommend that course from Aggie. It was called Fit as Fuck. And I learned so much about the body and overall health there. And I wouldn't want to miss that information in my life. But again, this is not sponsored. This is not an ad for anything. Well, in a way it is, but it's also not like I'm not getting paid for any of the things I'm saying. This is just a girl who struggled with acne for 9 years and is so happy that now I can go to the gym without makeup, without feeling super self-conscious. And I just want that for all the people who are on a similar path. Hope that this was helpful, and maybe you want to subscribe, stick around. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Bye.